The Brad Rules!
Replaying Jurassic Park for the Sega Genesis was a pure nostalgia trip for me, a frustrating one and definitely an interesting look back at a game that made great strides in graphics and animation. The developer Blue Sky Software created a very vibrant and striking looking game with one hell of an atmosphere. Blue Sky up to this point worked on some pretty obscure titles. A Little Mermaid game that was also on the Genesis, and Atari Lynx port of Ninja Gaiden, which up to this point I didn't even know about until researching Blue Sky for this video, and their other work consisted mostly of sports titles. So being tasked with working on a Jurassic Park video game must have been quite a curveball to say the least. Blue Sky even had Earthworm Jim creator Doug TenNapel on board as the lead artist. So there was some very creative people on board here, and you could see his influence and expertise on display here because the game looks artistically marvelous, and if it sounds like I'm gushing, I am, as I am a big Doug TenNapel fan. The graphics are digitized, but also are not overdone cardboard cutout looking photographs like some guys were very guilty of doing at the time. We have a very dark, gritty atmosphere with tremendous looking graphics, and the dinosaurs look fantastic and are very detailed. I'm not the biggest fan of how Dr. Grant's sprite looks though. It's clear he doesn't have an ounce of facial detail because his sprite is quite small, but overall the sprite isn't bad, and really it's the only weak point of this game's visuals. So what's this game all about, and what the hell are you doing in this game? Is it exactly like the movie? And well, it kinda is, and it's kinda not. And the only person you'll recognize in this game is Dr. Grant. You won't run into a single other human character during Grant's playthrough, as a matter of fact. And what do I mean by Grant's playthrough? Well, dear viewer, that's because you can either choose to play as Grant or a Velociraptor. And this is pretty damn cool, because they went the extra mile and could have easily stopped after crafting Grant's story. But they gave us what was a pretty rare feature at the time, getting to play as an antagonist. But Grant's playthrough is so much longer compared to the Raptor's, as the Raptor only has 5 levels compared to Grant's 7 levels, and each level is way shorter than Grant's. As Grant, you'll traverse various locations from the movie and even the novel, and one that's completely exclusive, that being the volcano. Yeah, Grant actually has to go inside a volcano for some reason, and I'm not sure why dinosaurs would be hanging out inside a volcano, but this is a video game. Throughout these levels, you'll have to do some pretty tricky platforming and contend with the dinosaurs that will relentlessly attack you. The controls are pretty good, responsive, but hit detection and collision can get a little wonky at times. Grant can luckily automatically grab onto certain ledges and has a variety of weapons, and most are non-lethal. In fact, the only enemies you can kill are the compies, which are these tiny little dinosaurs. You could kill them with the rocket launcher. This game is all about moving quickly and getting to where you need to go, and Grant can get hurt very easily. These dinosaurs will kill you fast if you're not careful, and when you run into a raptor, you better down them quickly because they will kick your fucking ass, literally. These motherfuckers will tear you up and kick you around as they move so quickly and have pretty alarmingly smart AI. I really get a kick out of how these good old boys troll you like this one in the pumping station. I was strolling along, peaceful and calm, and this guy just jumps up at me, and in the volcano, I make this jump, and this raptor just immediately makes a beeline for me, kicking me around, and my ass gets fried in the lava. And how about These raptors that play dead. I mean, my god, talk about a troll. But honestly, your biggest enemy in the game is the environment itself. Take the first level for example. Descending this shaft of branches is pretty harrowing to say the least. And hearing Grant cry out in pain every 2 seconds is actually genuinely hilarious. It sounds like the guy is giving birth. Grant seems to take damage from every fall imaginable, unless it's like from 2 inches up. I mean, come on. Was this really necessary? And some of this fall related stuff is a major culprit of frustration. In the power station level, you can even fall right through the floor. I mean, look at this. How the hell did that happen? How about the river level? If my boat is not pointing to the right here, I die. But if I'm pointing in the direction that's not the sharp rocks, I'm alive and well. How the hell does that work? Plus, make sure the original boat actually goes over the waterfall here. And don't just jump out of it before it gets pulled down by the waterfall like I did, because if you proceed to the next boat, you'll eventually get stuck. Because that boat will actually be waiting for you and you'll need to get back in it, and you'll just have to kill yourself and start over if you don't. I mean, come on, I'm about to fly off the edge of a waterfall and I'm supposed to wait to the absolute last second, so my reaction time was good, but I still get punished for it? And that's one of the biggest flaws of this game. It's brutally difficult. But that isn't really a problem when you know what to do during your next playthrough of the game. But it is a problem when it's your first time through, or you're like me, and you've played it but many years ago and don't even remember a great deal of it. And it's not even like it's a skill problem half the time. It's a not knowing problem, because examples like the boat needing to go over the edge of the waterfall prove it. The river stage will kick your ass and take names because it demands you learn how it's played, and if you don't, you're going straight over a waterfall, pal. This game's solutions to problems isn't also apparent, and this game is very detailed graphically, but it doesn't always do the best job of making certain details pop out to you in a way that makes you notice that you're supposed to use certain things in the environment. Like, this is an elevator? I didn't even know that at first until I just happened to press down on the D-pad. And did you know there's a pipe or something that you can climb on here? And that's why I couldn't make this jump. Plus, to climb, you have to know you're supposed to hit up on the D-pad. Yeah, that was immediately obvious. You can even barely see the thing overlaid on the background. And if you think that's a pain in the ass, wait until you get to the last screen of the game, and knowing what to do is a complete mystery. You'll try hitting these raptors and it does nothing, and hitting these fossils does nothing either. But throwing a grenade at the floor does the trick and causes the bones to fall onto the raptors. And make sure you don't kill yourself. I mean, why wouldn't throwing a grenade at the fossils be what triggers the bones to fall? I mean, I get that the vibrations of the explosion is what's causing the bones to fall, but throwing a grenade at the fossils does nothing? This just seems a bit too cryptic, especially to come so far only to have to figure this out, which isn't so apparent. Believe it or not, this is actually how the two raptors are dealt with in the book, and it was meant to be used in the movie as well, but Spielberg opted for the T-Rex to appear one last time and take care of them. But overall, I really do enjoy traversing the levels, and seeing what's up next and overcoming some of these challenges is actually satisfying, even if it's designed in such an infuriating way. And this game is so much better with save states, because guess what happens when you die? It's back to the beginning of the level, asshole! Wow, yeah, there's no checkpoints unless a level happens to have a subsection. And that's not the majority of them, and the game has no continues and only 3 lives, but thankfully the password system is a saving grace because the password is already entered when the game starts up again, so you could just jump right back into it. So this game is fair even if this design choice is super odd. Like, it's nice to have a password system, of course, but why not just have unlimited continues? Plus, why does the opening cutscene play even when I've entered the password? It makes you think the game is starting from the first level. Now, playing as a raptor, you'll face far fewer challenges, but jumping is definitely a bit more frustrating due to his much bigger sprite, and you'll have to contend with both dinosaurs and human enemies, and your main objective is to kill Grant. The raptor can jump super high, and it's just awesome getting to bite and pounce on humans. And you actually get to kill the dinosaurs and humans. There are some frustrating parts like making these jumps in the pumping station. I mean, look at this. I know I should have made this jump. And getting the drop on this enemy in the valley is a nightmare. Look at this knockback, damn! You never really feel very in control with the raptor's movements, he just feels so unstable. I enjoy playing as him, but the sense of control feels way less refined than Grant's. So let's talk about one of the things that always stuck with me ever since playing this game with my cousin as a kid, and that's just how fucking scary this game can be. The opening cutscene is creepy as hell, especially with the nighttime setting. It's even scarier than in the movie, especially with the limited motion in the animation. There's just something about the way it's put together that is so unsettling. And look how the raptor looks in his opening cutscene. Oh my god, that's just frightening. And probably the most defining scary moment in the game is when you hear some mysterious banging in the power station and suddenly the fucking T-Rex bursts its head through the wall.
Wow! What an entrance!
You'll need to injure him long enough to cross his path, and it's definitely a spine-chilling task to put it mildly, because this guy can swallow you whole. And can we take a moment to talk about how surreal the T-Rex looks? His digitized model looks so good in 16-bit, it's really just awesome. And what about the music? I love this atmospheric industrial electronic style music, and the Genesis was able to do this type of music so well. And this OST is fantastic. I see a lot of people actually knocking this soundtrack about as much as I see them praising it. But it's really good, and I love a lot of these tracks. The first level music is a classic and encapsulates the feeling of journeying through a jungle. And the spookiness of the music each time you complete a level is unforgettable as it fills you with a sense of dread. I love that horror movie inspired synth scream when Grant enters the valley. And you have to love the energetic vibe of the visitor center's music. So, we've got a flawed game in Jurassic Park, but it's a very memorable experience, and if you can overlook the flaws, you'll find a lot to like, even if you'll find plenty to get frustrated over. I think the game is a learning experience, and once you know what to do, the game gets significantly easier. And that was certainly a very common trend for games around this time. The difficulty was somewhat artificially inflated with unfair design to encourage repeated playthroughs, to make you get good, so to speak, and finally overcome these challenges by learning the level design. I know many might look at it as archaic design, but I have to admit I get a kick out of this, and being a fan of the source material definitely helps my enjoyment. Another thing I have to say is that this game gets a decent amount of slowdown starting at the pump station, and this is even when nothing is really going on. And it's odd because when things do get a bit busier on screen, it doesn't slow down. I found it kind of odd because it's so inconsistent. I recommend this one only if you feel you're up for a challenge, and do yourself a favor and play it with save states. You'll thank me later. But I do feel it's worth it if you want to experience some great visuals and atmosphere with some very cool music. But if you just want a casual experience that won't annoy you too much and you're not exactly a Jurassic Park fan, I'd say stay far away. And that just about does it for our look at Jurassic Park on the Genesis. Please let me know what you think in the comments down below. Have you ever played this game before? And if you did, what are some of your favorite memories from it? And please subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bells to get auto notifications when I post all my new videos. I want to thank all my subscribers for your continued support, and any donations that you could give on Patreon would be greatly appreciated. And thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.